Had a student close a pretty large deal. Markese's here on the call. So just wanted to really talk to him, let him, I don't want to say control the call, but he's going to give his story here and I have some questions for him. And then at the end, guys, if you have any particular questions for him, you guys can feel free to ask. So we'll go ahead and get started, jump into it right now. All right, Marquise. Well, what market are you in and what do you do for a living, man?
Oh, I'm in PSL right now, market, but I do PSL, Sebastian, Vero, and Fort Lauderdale and West Palm.
And
And
break
I'm an
break down
officer.
PSL. What does that mean?
Oh, I'm sorry. It stands for Point St. Lucie. That's what we
Port
call it
St.
around
Lucie. Gotcha. Okay.
here. Yeah.
And what do you do for a living?
Oh, I'm an officer.
So police officer working full time, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah. I know you worked a lot. Sometimes I catch you when you're off shift, man. I can tell you just waking up or I'm waking you up, one of the two.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but so how did you find out, about Ron's world and what kind of got you down this road in real estate?
Okay, so my first year, I saved up all my money. I saved up 30K. And I saved up 30K and I wanted to get in real estate, but I didn't know what to do for real estate. So, because all my people was like, "Oh, buy a property and stuff like that," but I didn't know how to lease and I didn't know the information. So I wanted before I got into it, which I'm glad. Um, I wanted to learn something about it before I jumped throw my stuff. So I was just for like 7 months. I was just researching Pace Morby. I've got other podcasts, and they're telling you what's his name. Uh, no, the other dude. He doesn't. He don't believe in credit anyway. But Dave Ramsey. I was looking at so many
Oh, yeah,
people
okay. Good old Dave,
just to
yeah.
get an idea. But Pace Morgan, I seen him and he was like seller finance up to, and I'm like I'm interested. So I just kept doing my research, and then Ron Legrand ad I was at on my phone, and it popped up. So I was just looking at Ron's thing, and then he told us a story about him buying a washing machine or something like that, and how he couldn't afford. Him and his wife got into it. So I bought one course. I said, okay, I got 30,000. It ain't gonna hurt me. I bought one course, and it told me a lot. And then eventually, I got on the phone with I can't think of his name. I know he's gonna kill me. But I got on the phone. He convinced me, and then I just invested. I was like, I'm young. I can always make the money back, and I believe, and I invested. And that's how I started.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's awesome, man. And I know that this isn't your first round of doing mentoring. So I guess what drove you to come back? Because we were together for a period of time there
Oh
for a little
yeah.
while, and you were kind of on a different schedule, I think, right? And then you kind of weren't locked in during those few months just because you were working quite a bit. So I guess what clicked for you and made you kind of want to come back and give it another shot and go again?
Uh, because like it's my first time. Like I'm not from a rich family, so like I was like I'm telling you, I was making what I was not making that much, and I was living off of $600 a month because I just wanted to be successful. Like I was, so I invested all that money, and I was worried about. I had mentoring with Barbara every week, but I was into it, but I was not very dedicated. I was so worried about being in debt for all this money I invested. Uh, because I had other bills, so I was trying to gain that back because I needed the LLC, I had to get the trust and all this stuff and learn all this information. So I was in it, but I wasn't very dedicated. And then I just started law enforcement, so I was doing FTO, and that's like 8 months, 6 months. So I was doing all of that whole process, and I couldn't really get into that, what I mean? I was a new kid on the block, so I had to stay for overtime. There was no, can you, now I'm a veteran, we got new guys, they can do that. But, I had to do what my supervisor told me. So I was working off 16-hour shifts, and then I get home and try to do 2 hours. It was crazy. It was
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, it was crazy.
So what?
Yeah.
So did you get did you schedule like transfer to a different unit, or did you change your schedule? I mean, what changed to kind of give you that more time, or you just learned how to manage it better?
No, it's not, didn't what changed was at first 6 months I learned what I could, and then I paid it back and the debt was over with. So it was cool. So then Then I went, I had a real good friend, Alyssa. Alyssa was like, well, don't give up. You know how it is. So I didn't want to give up because I knew all this knowledge now. So I went back and then to another quick start school. So I was like, okay, let me just start from scratch. Then I ran to Adel. And I love Miss Barbara. But Adel is like, I don't know if we're the same age gap or, he's older than me, of course, but like when he says something, it can relate. I love Miss Barbara. It's just that she's older. So she can say something that an older person can get because I'm younger and I'm like, she was like Mayo, this, and then when Al told me, it just clicked. So sometimes it's just who your teacher is. So I like Adel. I love Miss Barber. I like Adel. And then Adel, he talked to me and he was very related, and I could feel like I could open up. And then things started re-clicking like automatically because I heard Barber say it, but it just clicked better when Adel told. No, nothing against Miss Barber, but just clicked.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I was just, I got it. You know what I mean? Because with Miss Barber, I was trying to do flipping and all this. And my advice is like, start for one thing first and then move. Okay, so I knew Adel told me, oh, I'm a wholesaler. So when he told me, it just clicked. I'm like, well, let me stop with everything else and just concentrate on wholesaling. I need quick money. So I did the wholesaling. Then I got a deal. And then I can rebound off of that. You know what I mean? I was trying to do it. I was doing drive for dollars, sending out mail, trying to flip properties that I ain't had the money to flip. You know what I mean? I was so excited I had to calm down. So yeah,
Yeah, no, good. I appreciate the kind words, man, and I'll send you the check later.
yeah.
Uh, so let's get into the deal, man. That's what everyone wants to hear about more so and see how you did it. So, how'd you find the lead? That's probably the number one question. Where'd it come from?
First I was putting out ads, and then I stayed my senior year with somebody, and then she saw my ad, and she was like, I haven't been to the house. I stayed a couple of times, and she said, I want to sell my house, and I trust you. I said, okay, and it didn't have plumbing, nothing done. So I think the ARV was like 230. And so, like Ron tell us, all the experience getting cussed out on the phone because you don't know what you're doing. You learn from all your mistakes. I never told her what the price she wanted. So I said, I never gave her my price first. So I said, what you looking for? And she happened to say 200,000. So in my after repair value and all of that, I came up with 230. So I told her,
Hold
I
on.
got,
So you talking about your Mayo? The ARV was what, like 350 or something like that?
yes,
Yeah.
the
Okay.
R was 350.
Yeah.
I'm talking about what I got it for.
Yeah.
And and she wanted 2,000,
200,000.
200,000.
Yeah. Okay.
So I did everything, and I think my mail was like 220.
Yeah, well, let's stop there. So you got the ARV at 350. We multiply that point times point 0.8, right? We didn't
Right,
really, you had a general repair cost. You told me kind of need everything, and based on the square footage, I told you probably around 60, I'm guessing 60,000 on the repair. So
right,
you went in knowing that the Mayo was 220,
right,
basically based off of that,
right,
right?
right,
And
right.
then when you asked her basically, well, what do you want for it? And she came up with a number of 200,000.
Yeah,
Right.
I was happy about that.
So she said 200,000 and you tried to keep it together and didn't seem too excited. And then what happened
Yeah.
next?
Okay, and then I learned that you should have had, but the most important thing you're supposed to put in the contract, but I didn't have a buyer set up. So, I started marketing the property.
How,
And
how did you market the property?
me, Facebook and all of this, and everybody was hitting me up.
Like in Facebook, you were posting in groups or like what were you doing exactly on
Yes,
Facebook?
Facebook market groups. I put it on my well, I couldn't put mine. She didn't want nobody to know with it. But I put it on all Facebook groups, yeah, on my Snapchat, on my Instagram, everybody, just a lot of time wasters. But I got a lot of feedback. But when I was driving for dollars, I messed around and seen a sign that said for sale. And this like way back, and it was actually another wholesaler. And I had his number. He said, if you ever, we could JD on the deal. So I wouldn't get what I want, but something told me the highest I got was 225,000. So he has a buyer who was interested in this, and he wanted to do 50-50, and I worked too hard for that deal. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. So he called me back because he'd rather get something than nothing. And he told me the guy would buy it for 235,000. So we did the deal. He got 5. She got 200,000. I got my 30,000.
Gotcha. So to break that down, so you were marketing on Facebook and whatnot. You drive by, you see a sign from a wholesaler putting a sign out. You gave him a call, basically. I think you said you talked to him before. He wanted to JV the deal, meaning you take 50% of the profit and I take 50% of the profit. And you
Right,
said that ain't going to work for me because I already got an offer at 225. So why would I
right,
split that with you in essence? So it's a
right,
good lesson for everybody on the call. Just because you JV doesn't mean it has to be a 50-50 JV, right?
right,
If I got the contract and I have a good deal and you want to make a little bit of money on top, I'm okay with Markeze, right? He can make the 5 because he did bring the buyer, but I'm going to make the majority of the money. I'm the one who went out there, hustled, and got the deal and was knocking doors and doing all that stuff. So I just want to make that clear. So basically, you got the contract, you assigned it to him for 230. He assigned it to the end buyer for 235,
right.
essentially, right? So that's
Yeah,
what you call a JV, a joint venture deal. That's what that means. You can do it that way, or you can also have a side agreement between you two on the side. There's two
right,
different ways, but either way is fine. To take your assignment, assign it, and he signs that deal to the end buyer. And at the end of the day, end buyer brought the 235 to closing. Plus, the buyer played the closing cost, right?
right,
So seller gets 200, Markeze gets 30, his partner got 5, the buyer gets to buy the house for 235 that's worth 350 plus, right? With the rehab at
right,
60. So everybody in the deal makes money. And that's the way proper wholesaling should be. It's not ripping people off, it's not lowballing, we're getting you out of a situation, getting the buyer a property that makes sense for him or her to make money on the rehab. And in the middle, we get paid, or as a wholesale, and when you wholesale, you get paid for doing that work, for locking up the contract, for finding the buyer, for marketing, right? And the better you can, obviously deal you could get on it. So just want to make sure on that. So what happened? Okay, so what I thought you told me that you had put like a sticky note on the door or something. Was that a different house, different property?
Oh, yes. That's the one we working with now with the,
Okay.
yeah, I
All
put
right,
a
we'll
sticky
we'll
note.
talk about that one here in a second because I do
Right.
like that. I do like that story too.
Right.
Um, so what was the property like? I mean, you got to the house, you kind of had an idea of what it might look like. I mean, what did it actually look like when you got into the house there?
Well, uh, it was actually because remember, I said my repair because I was being a little safe, so I said 225, but the floor was still there. So that's why I got the extra 235 because my repairs, but I was being safe, so I got lucky and we could raise up the price some more. So the floors and everything was okay. The bathroom was okay. It was just the plumbing was the only thing. And then it had little leaks on the roof, inside roof. And he said he could take care of that. So it kind of raised my price up. So, I was
Got
like,
it.
yeah, I
Well,
was
I
happy
mean, I'm
about it.
talking about you when you walked into the house. Some people freak out, some people say, man, how did you react when you kind of walked in and saw like, did you ever doubt yourself that my repair was wrong, or maybe it's more, maybe it's less, or did you not really? You just kind of took my took the advice and just kind of believed it.
I kind of took it because it's not my first rodeo. So
Yeah.
I took, what I mean? I did have the experience when I was with Miss Barber. With this one, you've been in the trenches so long, you just ready to get the deal. But it was already clean because I was working so much. I sent my brother out there.
Okay.
He did the one you said. He just cleaned it. He gutted it for me. He don't mind doing that. So he had
Got it.
gutted everything out and it was all right. But don't open the
Okay.
refrigerator though. Yeah,
That is a lesson learned, man, that
yeah,
everyone will learn the hard way at some point.
yeah,
Opening there is no smell like that. I'm telling you
yeah.
right now, it is nothing
Open.
like you've ever smelled, man.
Yeah.
What was the seller's motivation? Why was she wanting to sell the property?
It was just sitting there like the plumbing was bad and she hasn't been in there for 8 months. So I guess she told me she been saw my ad. She was just hesitated if she wanted to go because she had memories raised up in the house. And then she was like, it's time. So then she just gave me a call.
When you say running your ads, what kind of ads?
So I have a ad with my business phone number on there, and I just run it on Facebook and Instagram every so days, and everywhere. And I
Just from your
post it.
personal page, or you're posting like in like groups?
It was my personal page,
Okay.
and
So
but
you
you can make it public.
gotcha.
Yeah,
So you're just posting from your normal page that you're buying houses, basically.
yeah. And
Yep.
I know a lot of people for socializing. So people link me and this and that. So she just called my business number, and I answered, and we had a conversation.
Awesome, man. So this lead technically was free,
Yeah.
right? Free marketing off of social media just by posting pretty consistently from your personal page that you buy houses, basically.
Yes.
Man, that can't get any better than that. What I guess what I know there were some challenges throughout the deal. I mean, what was some or the biggest challenge that you had maybe getting this across the finish line?
Um, Not on this deal.
Yeah, it
This
was
was
pretty smooth.
this was smooth. The one we dealing with now, that's is yeah. Because the guy who though I sold this one, he already had his own title company and everything, and they were familiar with him, so it went smooth. But the one I'm dealing with now is kind of they want the buyer, they want the addendum, they want all this extra stuff.
Yeah. And that's another good point too. Like sometimes you can't when you're wholesaling because you are assigned to the end buyer, and ultimately, if they want to close somewhere, you probably should let them close where they want to close, right? At the end of the day. But
Yeah,
there is something to say about, hey, when you find that title company that you're comfortable with and things went very smoothly, like do your best to stay with that, right? When you find a good one, do your best because not all of them are created equally and operate equally, as we'll get into the next one here in a second. So how long between you getting it under contract to you getting a check?
a week.
That was that quick. I
Yeah, it
didn't.
was quick.
Yeah. Okay. Man, I'm forgetting, man. So yeah, I didn't realize it
Yeah, it
was
was
a week
quick.
because I remember,
Yeah.
yeah. So you got it under contract within that same, and you got a check within the week?
Yes, yeah. But what was it, a
I
holiday? I
think it was
think.
like 10, probably a week and a half. Yeah, I remember you saying 10 days. He was going to
Yeah,
close in
yeah,
10 or 12 days or something.
yeah.
Yeah. And another good lesson there, I know Chuck is going through a little bit of this. You're going to get some offers that are going to tell you I need a 15-day inspection period or I need X amount inspection period. That's nonsense. These
Mm-mm.
buyers who are cash buyers buying properties every single month will close in 10 days,
Yeah.
15 days. Like there's nothing unusual about that on an off-market property. So it's something to just keep your eyes on or your ear to the ground when you have these properties. Never fall for this trap. Well, I'll give
Mm.
you what you're asking for, but I need 10 days or that's
Right,
nonsense. All right. You got to make sure you're signing today, deposit goes in tomorrow, you close in the next 14 days or 21 days max, right? That's how the process should go. So
yeah,
just some pointers there when you're talking to some of these buyers. If you get somebody on the hook who's like, "Oh, well, we need X, Y, and Z," and I'm gonna say that's not the buyer for this type of property. That's a retail buyer. We're not
right.
retail sellers here.
And
So
before we even, I went along with it. I made him send me proof of funds too. So that he sent me like $1 million of a screenshot. So that's another, good tip. So
yeah,
it'd be quick.
even better. That's a great. I've never asked for it, but it's not something that's not um that you should not do, right? You should ask for that stuff. I usually ask you the end buyer. Usually when they put down that deposit of $2,000 or $3,000, I kind of take it for that because that is non-refundable. But yeah, I mean that's a good point. They're asking them for proof of funds if you really feel like you need to. Um, so there was no day. This was a pretty quick one. Gave us some life lessons. So this is a 35K R of 350. Got it for 200. Sold it for 235. Great job, man. That's a huge deal. That's a humongous deal, right? Yeah, I've done a few over 30, but not very many. So congrats to you on that. I did want to touch base on the next one you do have here, which is because I love the story of how you did it. So I know you were because you do driving for dollars a lot, right?
Yeah, my
Yeah.
brother did.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
in case you guys don't know what that is, driving for dollars, basically you drive around and he's writing down addresses of vacant houses. I would include houses that maybe have tarps on the roof, houses that have high grass, houses that just don't look good, right? That's the main. And no matter what neighborhood you're in, good, bad, or ugly, rich or poor, there's always going to be houses that don't fit the neighborhood, right? That just are that aren't as nice or well kept as others. So those are the ones you really want to target, and which that's basically what he's doing, right? He's not spending much money, if any, on marketing right now. It's all through driving for dollars. So yeah, speak upon how you got this next one here.
Not the one in Okeechobee, the one in Fort Pierce.
Yeah, the one where you're getting 5 and 5, where you put the note on
Oh,
the
okay,
door. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, I seen the sign because my coach was down the street with the realtor. It was, and I knew she had listed, but my brother's like, man, it ain't gonna hurt to look it up. You know, I taught him a little bit, so I looked it up, and it wasn't it wasn't listed. So I put the note, sticky note, and then I skip traced it, and then he was like, hey, I did see your sticky note. I was like, yeah, blah blah blah. So we met back at the property because before I went there, everything was okay. Then when I got back, all the windows were busted out the house. So I was like, I didn't see this boy. I said, what happened? He was like, the one I evicted, busted all the windows. So I was kind of happy because now I can work the property a little down. But I was like, well, so I gave him my offer, what he wanted, and then I told him, and he was like, we had a good conversation. He liked my vibes, and then he said, I told him, he said we couldn't do that. So I said, I can't accept it. So I walked away. Then he said, you know what, young man? I got another property in the back. So I said, okay, let's drive to it. So we drove to it. And then we made a deal on the back property.
Damn. So we got to the house through the sticky note. He called you, had the conversation or you called him, and he recognized the sticky note on the door. Got out to the house, windows busted up from evicted tenant. You thought, man, okay, this is some potential here now. Now he's real
Yeah.
in distress.
Yeah.
Still couldn't come to an agreement at the house on that particular house. And as you're leaving, he basically says, hey man, I got another property. You want to take a look at it? And that's what led to that. And so what's the RV on that one?
I couldn't tell you. I think it was what we put it for one. Is that I think it's what 150? What we said 150?
Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right. And you got it under contract for what?
110.
So you got 150 and you got under contract for 110. Damn, okay. That's a pretty tight squeeze there. So when you're selling it for how much?
120.
You sure the RV is 150?
I don't I couldn't I ain't do it right now. Hold on.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. I'm assuming it's probably more than that. It's my assumption it's probably closer to like 250 is probably the RV, and probably needs about, I don't know, 50K worth of work or something like that. So Mayo about 125 or so, and you're selling it for 120 essentially, right?
Right.
Gotcha. Okay, so you got the contract, and you went back to the same guy now. Is that right? The
Yeah.
same the
I
same
was like,
wholesaler
yeah,
or the same
yeah.
buyer?
Yeah, I went to the same buyer. Well, I didn't know with experience, I didn't know how to get the hold of the buyer. So I went to the same guy. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I should have held out because I could have got 10, but I'm gonna get 5. You know what I mean? So
So on that one there, don't forget you can always go to the public record and see who bought the property after you sold it. And you should see an LLC there or some name,
right,
and you can
right,
skip trace that person. But hey, that's a learning experience either way. So basically, you're JVing with the same guy on this one though, 50-50. You
right.
got the property, he wanted 5, you took in 5. So when's that one scheduled to close?
We just waiting on the attorney
Okay, so you're just
because it's
waiting
a
on the
probate. Yeah,
got okay. Oh, so it's not clear to probate yet.
right, right. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So another 5 coming your way. We got a question here in the chat from Gary. Did you let your attorney title company handle the money transfer and deposit, or did you handle it yourself?
No, you always don't do that. Yeah, always. Yeah,
Yeah,
I let them
always
do that.
title or attorney. You never
Mhm.
disperse funds, take funds, do anything to do with the funds, right? That's the whole purpose of the title company.
Yeah.
Now, the deposit, the EMD, sometimes I have taken it, from the seller itself themselves, or the how do I say that? if I'm assigning the deal to you, I have taken money from the end buyer, right? As my EMD, give it directly to me. But most people aren't going to do that nowadays. They're going to want to go to the title company, which is fine. So, um, yeah. So great, man. So that one's closing hopefully in the near future. What advice would you have for anybody on the call that, hasn't done a deal and maybe feeling frustrated or it's not possible? I mean, I guess what drove you to keep going? Many people would have been in it, quit, you did mentoring, didn't work out, you put this money, most people just kind of move on with life. What caused you to kind of keep going?
I'm a type of person playing sports and stuff. Like when I say I'm gonna do something, I'm dedicated to until I get all mine back. Because I said I want to get my 30K back. I'm not gonna give up. You know what I mean? And I knew if I had a little bit more time, because I didn't have time. You know, I wasn't thinking about it. I was like to be successful quick. So starting a new job and did all at once. You know what I mean? I just said I just had to me. What you know when we played ball, they used to tell us just weather the storm. And then that's what I did. I just weathered it. You know what I mean? Because I went bad at it. Then, my brothers kept talking about, you'll get it, Kelly, you'll get it. So they kept motivating me. And then I got it over the hoop. And now I'm
Yeah.
getting deals back to back. Yeah.
Were there any people at the beginning or probably in your family or friends who said, man, this is a scam. You don't know what you're doing.
Oh
Stop
yeah.
wasting your time.
My brothers, it's like you invested 30,000 on what? Yeah. He better be
Yeah.
teaching you everything. So but now they want it, now they looking for properties for me to, JV with me with properties. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
You went from Port St. Lucie. All of a sudden, you're sending me deals in Atlanta. You're sending me
yeah,
deals. I said, "Damn, you're
yeah,
virtual now." He said, "No,
yeah,
all my family's on board now because they saw the check, right? We
yeah,
call it the shut up check or whatever." And
yeah,
and that's a real thing. It is a real thing to do and to get that to show people that is possible. So I mean,
yeah.
it's a good feeling, I'm sure, right?
Right,
Yeah, we
right,
proved them wrong. Well, what's kind of next for Marquise? I mean, you're going to continue doing wholesaling deals. Do you have any? What's your long-term goal in real estate? Do you have one in terms of you want to build a portfolio, you want to do some
yeah.
flips,
That's what I'm saying. I got a lot in this area of flips, but I want to know how to do my first flip. And
Yeah.
then, and I want a couple of seller finance sub two deals, or what we call the wraps. Yeah, but I really want to do a flip to leave my law enforcement job.
Yeah. And you're in the best position, anyone on the call, really best position to do flips because you can find your own deals, right?
Yeah.
So you don't have to do anything differently than you're doing now to find your next flip. You're finding great deals and you're actually finding better deals than the in buy than the people who are buying them from you, right? This guy, if you had found this deal, there's 35K he was willing to pay, meaning that could have been potential profit for you if you were to do the rehab on it or whatnot, right?
Right, right, right.
But with that comes a lot more risk, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
capital and all that. I mean, I
yeah.
would I would advise anyone, you got this size of an assignment, I'll take it over most any flip. Unless you're going to make 100K on the flip, like take that 30K or 40K assignment. In my opinion, especially if it's your first one. I wouldn't say if you've been doing it for a while, but in the first few deals, not saying don't jump into rehabs, but I would strongly advise to just get some money on the plate here in your bank account, and then you can kind of regroup after that. But um, so how has doing this deal changed maybe your mindset or the way that you operate?
Yeah, it makes you want to do more. And then, I've got the one in Okeechobee we still doing. But yeah, makes you want more. Actually, I seen somebody because I look on Facebook for free information because I work at a jail, so there was like you need to look up the recent arrest. So I got me a lead out of that one too because the drug addict. I have a relationship because I work a pot with these people, and they're squatters because they go in people's houses and smoke dope,
Yeah.
basically. So I just asked them because they know Okeechobee because they go to one house and the other. And I asked them and they gave me a lead, the one with Rita.
Okay. Got
Yeah.
it.
So, I'm just, what I mean? That's what you can do, I just use that as an advantage for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a solid list, man. Like I've never looked it up, but I've heard the arrest the arrest list, right? People who have been put incarcerated,
Yeah.
they need money and they have a
Yeah.
house, right? They're, you
Right.
know, they're more open, but that's a whole different, you know, you're gonna have to go to the, you're gonna have to go to the jail probably and get the agreement signed and go through that whole process. But if it's a good deal, it's a good deal. What's the harm in doing that, right? Sometimes you got
Yeah.
to do something that others won't do to have what others don't have. Is that right? Yeah, something like that.
You're right.
Awesome, man. Well, any questions here on the call for him in particular? I know Gary put one in the chat, but feel free to come off mute, guys, if you had any particular questions about any of the deals or anything. Go ahead, Chuck.
Yeah, Markeze, hi. Thanks for sharing your story.
No problem.
From when you left the Jumpstart with Ron Legrand, how long did it take you to close that first deal you did?
2 years.
2 years?
Well, a year in
9 months?
5 months. 5 months. My fault.
Well, great job for not giving up. That's a long time, man. You're definitely
Yeah.
persistent
Yeah.
and keep hacking away at it, man.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Yeah. Any other questions for him here?
Yeah. What did you put on the sticky note when you stuck it on the person's house? What did it say?
I said, I buy houses. Please give me a call, and then I put my phone number.
That's it? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Yep. That's a good one. I also like to put, hey, this is Adel. I had a question about your house. Give me a call here, right? Something along those lines. But I like yours. Hey, I buy houses. Give me a call. That's all you need on any marketing, even a postcard. That's why I always say don't overthink the mail. Don't overthink what you're writing on letters. Don't overthink anything. Put what you want, buy houses, and where to reach me, right? That's really the two components of any marketing piece. So good question. Any other questions from anyone here?
Hi,
Okay.
I'm on the West Coast. I'm in Naples, so I'm like directly across from you on the other side of
Yeah.
Florida. When you put your house on the investor pages, like for Facebook, what did you put as the ad? Did you have like a template that you use, or
What you mean, the house, or you just saying what?
when you were marketing it to find your whole?
You put the pictures of the home inside out, and then you basically say what's the after repair value, how much it needs in repair, and then what you ask.
Okay, so you do put what you're asking. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. And those ads, he hit on the head. ARV asking. I typically don't put a repair cost personally because those are really, what's the word I'm looking for? Is it subjective? Like it's a really opinion based. What I think of repair, you may not. So what I think 50, you may
Yeah.
think 40. So I usually put something like light, medium, or heavy something, but I used to put the number all the time and that works just fine. It's not a bad thing, but
Right.
I've learned over time, people are going to hold you to those numbers. So they're not, if you're off, then they're going to use it against you, just like I would if I saw that too. So, but no, yeah, good question on the ad. That's exactly right. Just don't overthink it. What you want, what you're asking, DM me below or whatever. Awesome, guys. Any other questions for him?